Hello and welcome back, and that is right. Today we want to talk about the new Synology DS1525 Plus, a NAS that we kind of learnt about a few months ago during a Synology event where some happy users took some snappy snap pictures. And although a lot of the specification I'm going to talk about today were already confirmed in that video and the coverage that I did a few months ago, I will say a few extra little details that we've learned along the way, and more specifically about the device now, made me feel like I should make another video now that the device is pretty much out there in the East, and therefore it's going to be out here in the West very, very soon. Now, with regards to pricing, it looks like, much like other Synology refreshes, this device is maintaining a similar price point to the 5-bay devices that came before it, the DS1520, the DS1522. And although the prices I can only find right now are ones based in China, or ones in Hong Kong, or ones in Australia or Japan, all scattered around, it sits around the $699 to $799 price point, depending on tax, location, etc., in terms of dollars. So, again, very similar price point to devices that came before it. But let's talk about the hardware. Now, a lot of this you can already ascertain from their predecessors. It is a 5-bay, that's 5 SATA bay NAS solution that has 2 M.2 NVMe bays at the base that can be used for storage pools as well as for caching. Alongside this, in terms of connectivity, the device has a single 5GB USB port on the front and a 5GB USB port on the back, USB Type A. Synology have pared back a lot of support of USB devices in recent years, for those that aren't aware, and this USB is largely utilised for external storage or for UPSs. Now, the device, much like the DS925 that came before it, is rocking out with a 2.5GB port, 2 of them to be precise there, so a combination of potential 5 gigabits per second connectivity there. So again, link aggregation, port trunking, load balancing, SMB multi-channel. Some of these are having 2 of them running side by side or combining them. You have the option of failover or combination there. Don't get me wrong, I'm pleased Synology have added 2.5 gig onto this, the DS925 Plus, and a bunch of other devices coming out in 2025, but it's a little bit overdue. I'm glad they're maintaining the same price point, and I expect to see upgrades, but 2.5 gig for me right now is a bare minimum. I'm pleased it's on there, but I'm not going to give it too much credence. However, this can be expanded with 2 5-bay expansion devices, the DX525 Plus, 2 5-bay USB Type-C connected expansion chassis, making this providing you with the ability to have 5 bays of storage that you can bolster up to a total of 15 bays. You can't use that USB, unfortunately, for any other JBOD connected appliance, and you can't use the other USBs on this device to expand either. So again, Synology give us, Synology take us away. It's quite good that you can expand, but still nonetheless, the USB expandability is quite common in the NAS market. So as good as this is, it is quite ubiquitous across the market. But I am pleased to confirm the device will have the PCIe Mini Gen 3x2 upgrade slot there, giving you the ability to add 10 gigabit Ethernet. Now, the detractors, and let's face it, they do have a point, will say, well, that's the bare minimum as well. A lot of 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 8 and 12 bay solutions have PCIe upgradability. Why should we give them extra credence on this? Well, I will say that upgrade, something we saw in the previous generation, 5-bay and 4 bays, was actually removed from the DS925 recently. It was an unpopular move, I think people felt, about that refresh into the 2025 series. And the 1525 Plus, arriving with that PCIe upgrade slot, although it should be a standard right now, at the very least a lot of users are going to be reassured that it arrives with it. Keep in mind though, it can only really be used to add a 10 gig network upgrade there. When this feature was first introduced 2 years ago, some of us were kind of hoping Synology would roll out a few different kinds of adapter to go inside that slot, but it's really only the 10 gig upgrade. So you've got one optional purchase there for around 100 to 150 NICA, depending where you are in the world. It's great to be able to scale that up, and I would argue the 5 bays of storage on this were already going to largely oversaturate the 2 times 2.5 gig, so at least you've got some road to go, and particularly if you're going to scale out with the additional 10 bays of storage, having that option is, pretty pleasing. Now, in terms of the internal hardware there, it's running on that quad-core AMD Ryzen V1500B, a 4-core 8-thread processor that's great for file transmission, virtual machine deployment, and Docker. It is based on efficiency. I would argue it's nowhere near as powerful as an i3 or any Intel Core or Xeon processor, but for the price point and for the capabilities within DSM, it's not a terrible CPU. It was originally in a higher tier of their solutions back in 2020 to 2022, and it's slowly made its way further down the chain. It's not the first time Synology have done this. It won't be the last, and this CPU features in a number of business class Plus series devices there. Also arrives with 8 gig of DDR4 ECC memory, which again, business storage users are going to be pleased about. The previous generation 923 and DS1525 Plus, because they were so similar, the margin between that 4 and 5 bay device was pretty slim, and both of them, you know, arrived with pretty much the same features. Now, that is sort of true in the 925 Plus and the DS1525 Plus, but I will say the 1525 Plus for me is looking, at least in terms of what you're getting for your money, a much more attractive offer there. The 925 Plus around the 550 mark, this rocking out at 699, 799. There is an increase in spend, but you're getting double the memory of ECC there. You're getting the 10 GBE upgrade slot there. You're getting 5 bays of storage over 4. You're getting double the expandability there. It's just generally a much more appealing long-term scalable choice. And clearly, Synology have done this on purpose, with, frankly, the DS925 feeling ever so slightly hobbled when they removed that 10 gig upgrade slot there, but included it on this, even though both of them are nearly identical internal hardware there. So again, Synology giveth, Synology taketh away. But we've got to talk about it, storage compatibility. This 5-bay NAS system has got the same rules and compatibility as the DS925 Plus and other Synology 2025 generation and later systems. Depending on when you're watching this, this is coming out, I believe, in early May. Right now, this system, depending where you are in the world, the compatibility listings for this are going to differ. Hopefully there's something here on screen right now, but depending on how and when Synology verify other drives from, say, WD, Seagate or Toshiba, the number of drives you're able to use with this will differ. Like the DS925 Plus, when it has rolled out at launch, does not have any other drives other than Synology labeled drives. Their own range of different tiers and different performance and different capability, SATA hard drives, SATA SSDs and M.2 NVMe's. Now, that does mean if you try to use the DS1525 Plus with non-verified, non-compatible drives, it will not allow you to initialize. There are workarounds, there are hacks, there are means to migrate drives over to this with limitations, I might add. Do check out the video link below regarding our testing of non-verified, non-compatible drives. But this may be something that changes. Over time, Synology may well add other drives to that compatibility listing. It's not going to please everyone, and almost certainly they're not going to add a lot, because they are relying quite a lot on WD and Seagate doing the verification. But still, nonetheless, it is something you need to note when going for this system, that you are entering a significantly more closed ecosystem than previous generations of Synology. But that is really it. This system, as I say, is rolling out in the East and it'll almost certainly arrive here in the West very soon. I'll update you when it does if there's anything new to add. But all the information I've got here is coming from sources that are backed either officially or with information provided by official sources. These are the specifications here, whether we like it or not. The DS1525 Plus, at least if you were already considering looking at the DS925, frankly, I'd spring the extra cash and go for this one or wait it out, because this one to give you significantly more scalability, although keep in mind both of them arrive with that kind of funny verification hard drive policy, which, let's face it, not everyone's a fan of. But thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you do want to get hold of one of these or check if it's available, there are links in the description to not only other videos and articles that we've done at NAS Compares, but also links to this system and others. If you found this video helpful, and if you're going to go to those sites anyway, make sure these two things are true, please use those links. It really helps us out at NAS Compares and allows us to keep doing what we do. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.